Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Now, this is going to be one of the most important videos I've ever launched in this channel. Genuinely, if I could go back and give myself one video at the start of this year, it would be this one. It's not going to be that long, but this is going to be the most value I've pretty much ever given out. And for most of you guys watching this, this is going to be the most valuable pieces of information I can possibly give you. And it's going to be why you're not scaling in Q4, but more importantly, why your ads aren't scaling in general. And this isn't going to be some like surface level stuff. This is going to dive deep into a few things. And yeah, we're going to be running through exactly how to improve in situations like this, what I do when you have a very high add to cart rate, but there's a lot of drop off essentially and way more stuff. And this was a brand I launched just before Q4. You can see the scale here. 1st to the 15th, we'd only spent $15,000, and now in the last 7 days, we spent around $30,000, and that's just with one store as well. All right, I'm going to come in and rip the band-aid off here. You guys are just doing the wrong shit. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a quiz here to get this video started. Here is a recent product test I ran. Now, this might be very familiar to a lot of you guys. This might be a pretty common occurrence. I do see it a lot. A lot of you guys reach out to me, say, why do I have a high add to cart rate? Why do I have a low checkout rate? Whatever. Like, here was a recent product test. And you can see here, pretty dead, or like very high add to cart rate, very low reach checkout rate, almost no purchases. And this was the same store, same product, 7.6%. You can see there, 3.51% complete checkout rate. Now, I want you guys to guess, what did I change on this specific store? I only changed one thing. Was it adding urgency to the cart checkout page, sending traffic to a different product page? Was it I launched a different offer? You know, maybe I even switched products. I want you guys to think about this and come up with what you think I changed. Okay, so it was actually none of that. Now, I wanted to put this to the test because, again, so many of you guys reach out to me, you're like, what do I do in this situation? Like, what do I do? What do I do? And over time, like, I've seen different scenarios. I've seen a lot of different cases. And I wanted to actually go out and test this on my own, because when I had these results on a recent product test, I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to change anything. The only thing that I'm going to change is just launching more ads and launching better ads. I'm not going to add anything to the checkout page. I'm not going to change the offer. I'm not going to change the product page. I want to see if it's purely my ads that are grabbing the attention of the wrong kind of buyers, or, you know, the quality of my ads in general are just weak. That's why I'm not getting any conversions, because truthfully, if I was to theoretically add 10,000 plus happy customers, or, you know, sale ends tonight, or, you know, logos to my checkout page, at the very, very best, like I'm talking hypothetically here, if I was to increase my results by 30%, that still doesn't mean a lot. I'm still going to be getting ship metrics. I'm still probably not even going to be profitable. So it's why I just recommend take larger swings with your testing. Now, another problem you guys face is ChatGPT. I wanted to run this through ChatGPT and see what it said. And moral of the story here, it's just bullshit. It's why I recommend to beginners, if you guys are just getting into the game, don't use ChatGPT to analyze your Facebook metrics. Don't use ChatGPT to analyze your Shopify metrics or anything related to e-commerce. It's good for scripting. That's pretty much it. It's good for giving you ideas and which directions to take. But when it comes to actually analyzing specific metrics and letting you know what you should do next, never use it. I was like, if you had to analyze these metrics and let me know what I should do to improve my CVR, what would you suggest? And it just comes out with a bunch of bullshit. Add buy now button, enable express payments, add shipping clarity. See how it didn't mention creatives here at all? And that is like it was the only thing I actually changed. And then I wanted to further test this by saying, do you think if I added some logos to my checkout page and maybe add 10,000 happy customers, it will drastically improve it? Yes, 100%. So when I ran this test, I was like, all right, ChatGPT is just fucking bullshitting. And another thing it's going to do is it's going to gaslight you guys into thinking you're like fucking Jesus. It's going to gaslight you guys into thinking you are God himself. It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen this meme here. I need someone who looks like this to follow me around and pretty much to say facts to everything. Your ChatGPT is going to do that. If you are running a product test, or if you are prompting it in a way that it's kind of able to gaslight you, it will. It's just going to be like, yes, absolutely, master. I think it was saying here, yeah, perfect move. Now you're thinking like a real operator. It always says this. So I'm going to pop up a text on screen. What you guys want to do is go to settings and then go to like bio or something, and then paste that in there. And it's pretty much going to remove this whole gaslighting side of things. And it's going to be able to give you guys like real feedback. I still wouldn't use it for analyzing metrics, but it's pretty funny. But at the same time, this is like a real thing. Now, I want to introduce you guys to an old concept I had when I was running an agency. And one of my mentors back then really loved this saying, and it was be a caveman. Now, what does this actually mean? There were two groups of people in the agency. One group of people was extremely successful, like scaled up very fast, 50K months, whatever. the other group of people, they would never get results. And they would always be like, oh, what the fuck am I doing wrong? You know, etc. The difference is the outreach method we used there was cold calling. And this whole narrative of becoming a caveman was, if you just pick up the phone and you just keep dialing for hours and hours and hours, if you get 6 hours of fucking dials done, you're going to be significantly better than the guy who did 1 hour of dialing and then is like, all right, what was wrong with this? Like, just hyper analyzing every single one of your calls. And this is so important because even though it is Q4, it does not mean your focus should shift. You guys should just be running more ads. You can see here, this was just a little analogy I used. Me launch ad, me launch another ad. You know, me not give a fuck about media buying hacks, because truthfully, this is kind of the process a lot of you guys are going to go through. And this sometimes can rage for months. I mean, I've even seen guys go through this for years before they really get the hang of it. And it's why, like, this specific thing I'm about to teach you is, if I could go back and tell my former self one thing. A lot of you guys say, right, if you had to restart ecom and you could tell yourself one thing, what would it be? This is literally it. So the average ecom thought process, you guys, you know, build out your product page, whatever, you're going to launch an ad, and then the ad is going to be unprofitable. Maybe it doesn't scale. You might launch another ad, and that ad is also going to be unprofitable. So you're not going to be able to scale. And this is where a lot of you guys go wrong. You've launched 3 ads, 5 ads, maybe even launched 10 ads, and you haven't seen results yet. So you're like, okay, it's not my ads. My ads are perfect, because a lot of you guys are subjective and you think your ads are very good, but they're not. So you start to move on to other stuff. Like, is it my website? Is it my offer? Is it my pixel? Is it my product? Now, I'm saying this from experience, because back when I was testing, like at the start of this year as well, I would be testing, and I'm like, okay, I've obviously done everything in my power here when it comes to testing angles and all iterations and stuff. It has to be something else. And truthfully, it was literally just the quality of my ads was shit. So I was never able to scale. And this is when it's pretty important as well for you guys to understand the way Facebook's optimization system works is with the new Andromeda update. In a nutshell, it's just aiming to keep people on their app as much as they possibly can. They don't want people to leave Facebook, because the longer people are on Facebook, the longer they're able to see ads and the longer they're able to make Facebook more money. So Facebook wants to give people exactly what they want to see. So if you're launching an ad that isn't necessarily around your product, or the messaging is misaligned, or there's something, you know, that isn't clicking, Facebook is still going to spend on it if it's keeping people on their platform. It's why I stress so often about running hooks that aren't related to the product or aren't related to your niche at all, in order to get a higher hook rate, because you can have like a 70% hook rate and you can have very strong hold rates. People are still watching through. So therefore, Facebook is just going to allocate more spend to that creative. And, you know, these ads might have high CTR, low CPC, low CPMs. They might have all the ideal front end metrics, which you guys then think, okay, well, this ad is obviously a winner based on the front end metrics. There's something wrong here. So I need to go through on my website, I need to change my offer, headline, whatever. And this is why I was mentioning this point before, is you launch ads that don't work, so then you think something else is wrong. So then you move on, you waste time doing pointless shit, like I was saying, looking into media buying strategies, looking at really small changes to your offer, maybe making a couple of image changes on your website. None of it works. So then you end up going back to launching ads to begin with. And like I said from the start, this process that I just showed you guys there takes people months. It takes people years to fall out of. They don't understand that it wasn't all this other pointless shit the entire time. It was their ads. So how do we fix this, and how do we essentially shift our mind to start scaling? Because I can guarantee if you guys start implementing what I'm about to teach you, you're going to be absolutely crushing it. Now, if you're under 1K a day in spend, you need to be playing to your advantages. Now, a lot of you guys just think you're in the trenches or whatever, but you guys have advantages that you don't even know about that you should be utilizing every single day. Now, what I mean by this is, because nothing's really working at the moment, you can afford to just take the biggest swings ever. Instead of just, you know, when you get to a higher spend, if you take a massive swing and it doesn't work out, you're fucked. Like, you're unprofitable ROAS or whatever. Like, if you mess up something in the funnel, but at this spend, you guys can literally just change everything. And at the very worst, you see a 0.1 or your ROAS becomes even more unprofitable, which you now know then, okay, this doesn't work. Let me test the complete opposite direction. The point I'm getting at here is you guys can really find and get results fast because your testing area can just be so wide. So it's why when I see guys who are doing like $200 a day in spend, $300 a day in spend or whatever, they're like, yeah, should I add checkout badges to my thing? Or should I add 10,000 plus happy customers? Literally, that's going to do nothing. And at the end of the day, you know, it all boils down to one thing: launching more ads. You don't have to worry about emails, small changes, any of that bullshit. If you guys do think that your ads are good, I mean, like I said before, usually they aren't, but you really want to be taking larger swings than when it comes to rebuilding your product page fully. Like, instead of just changing a couple images or changing the title of your product or whatever, rebuild the product page fully to be, I don't know, if you have a specific avatar in mind that you think could be the best performing and it's on your ad, like it's the top spending ad, build the landing page around that. If you notice your ad is like more top of funnel and you're sending it to a bottom of funnel landing page, try building a top of funnel landing page around it. And if you want to make offers that are specific to your avatar as well, that is important. So you guys can see, like, what I just ran through here. This was a pretty quick video, but you just need to be taking bigger swings with your testing. Fuck the 10% off. If you guys are spending $100 a day and your website layout somewhat improves your performance by like 30 to 40%, you're only going to be getting $30 to $40 extra day of spend. So it's why, you know, if you launch one winning ad into your own account, I always say one winning ad can literally change your life overnight. You can go from doing $100 a day in spend to doing 5 figures a day in spend just off one ad that is absolutely crushing it. So it doesn't make sense to me why you guys are going after these smaller changes when you can afford to be making these massive swings and getting results faster. So yeah, if you guys did watch to the end of the video, so many of you guys have been reaching out to me asking if I do mentoring or whatever. I never have really until this point. So if you guys want, I think I'm going to take on maybe 1, 2, 3 people, like one-to-one through Q4, so you guys can see how I'm scaling at the moment. If not, that's fine. Message me on Instagram if you guys have any questions. I'm not going to try and sell you anything over there. And also join the free Discord. And one more thing as well, I'm going to be documenting through November, because you guys can see now the brands are starting to get some traction. I hate being that guy that comes on here and starts spewing stuff to you guys when I'm not doing decent numbers myself. So that's why I had that break. I, you know, took some time away, really nailed in my e-com skills, making sure I still had it, scaling these brands up. And now that I'm confident that I have these skills in place, I want to come back, kind of give you guys a bit more insight into the journey itself, because it's fucking rough, but it's also, it's like an emotional roller coaster. I'm sure a lot of you guys can resonate with it. But yeah, if you watch this video, you know, I appreciate you guys, and peace.